Welcome back to another episode of the Andersonians Raven Watch. We hope you had a great and relaxing Thanksgiving break. And it's hard to believe, but we're officially in the home stretch of the semester. While we were away on break, the women's basketball team was in action, and the 2017-2018 season was a tough one for the program as the Ravens finished with an 0-25 record. But the new year meant new life for the program, and with 3 wins in their first 4 games, this is an entirely new team. The Andersonians' Jordan Yaney met with Coach Shade and got the inside story.
The women's basketball team is looking to turn the page following an 0-25 season a year ago. With 14 freshmen on the roster to pair with returning players like Hannah Hawkins and Rihanna Watson, the team looks distinctly different from last year's squad. After recording their first win in almost 700 days, the Ravens have optimism back in their program. I sat down with Coach Shade to discuss her expectations for the 2018-2019 season.
The win this past weekend was huge for our program, and it probably was biggest just mentally. Our players knowing and believing that they can win and that we're capable, and just shifting that mindset. For our juniors, I actually got emotional after the game, just appreciating their perseverance and the grit and just what it takes to stick with something with no real tangible reward for it. And then obviously for our sophomores who stuck it out after not winning a game, it was awesome to get that. There are several challenges with having 14 freshmen. Obviously that's a lot of new players, new personalities, and then for the 14 freshmen, they are all learning a new system, a new style of play, both offensively and defensively. So getting familiar with how we do things is a process, and it takes some longer than others to catch on to what we want. I think this team is going to surprise a lot of people. We have more talent than we've had in years before. We have more depth than we've had, and because we're so young, I think that it's going to be an interesting journey from beginning to end to see where we start and where we end up, because I think we're going to get a lot better over the course of the season. So, you know, we're focused more on the process and being committed to the identity that we want to have as a team, and determined, and then just fiercely united in all things that we do. So I think if we do those 3 things consistently, that we will surprise some people at the end of the season.
Thanks, Jordan. It's great to see our women's team back in the win column. After a dominant final 6 minutes, the Ravens defeated St. Mary's 78-67. They were led by Peyton Moore's dominant performance off the bench, pouring in 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals. Freshman guard Lexi Dellinger, the reigning Conference Player of the Week, added 16 points and 8 assists. Men's basketball is in the midst of an incredibly difficult non-conference schedule. Down by as many as 19 points in the second half to Trine, AU was able to trim the deficit to 4, but they couldn't quite get over the hump, falling 78-72. The Ravens were led by their 2 1,000-point scorers. Stanley Duncan recorded a game-high 23 points, and Cole Hartman added 20. In his return from injury, Hartman is averaging 20 points and 8 rebounds per contest. Both basketball teams are in action at home this weekend, hosting Earlham in the conference home openers. Women will tip at 1 p.m. and the men will follow. The swim team hits the road to take part in the Transylvania Invitational on Saturday. This will be their first meet with Coach Megan Willis leading the program. And a huge congratulations goes out to Elijah Smith. The defensive end was named HGAC Freshman of the Year after capping off a strong first season in the orange and black. Smith led the nation with 7 forced fumbles and was 3rd in the country with 29.5 tackles for loss, an AU single-season record. Smith was one of 9 Ravens to receive all-conference recognition. Alex Barnett, Cody Frager, and Caleb Woolridge were named to the second team, while Reggie Lipscomb, Stephen Marshall, Zach Talent, and Drew Wilson earned honorable mention. Jeremy Davis was AU's representative on the Christopher M. Ragsdale sportsmanship team. And that's what we've got for you here this week. We'd like to extend a big thank you to our sponsor, Steve Folgate, and we will see you next week right here on Raven Watch.